Brothers and sisters, as you all know, in the United States of America over the past 4 business days, a beautiful black woman, chocolate, deeply melanated, natural-haired black female judge, Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson, or is it Jackson Brown? Is it Brown Jackson? Let me get the sister's name right. I keep on mixing it up. Brown Jackson, KBJ. Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson had to face down the racist U.S. Senate. Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson had to face down for 4 days the racist United States Senate, excuse me. It was racist. It was demeaning. It was accusatory. It was disrespectful. It was insulting the way that those devils on the U.S. Senate treated our sister. It was an absolute miscarriage of justice the way that this country, so-called democracy, so-called land of freedom, justice, and equality, so-called leader of the free world, so-called land of opportunity, the way that those devils on the U.S. Senate treated that black woman, Sister Ketanji Brown Jackson. They treated her like a dog. They treated her like an animal. They treated her like an idiot. They treated her like a moron. No Supreme Court justice nominee in the history of this country, no Supreme Court justice nominee in the history of this country has ever been treated the way Sister Ketanji was treated by the United States Senate this past week. I got to speak to this. I got to speak to this. I got to speak to this. I want you to understand, overstand, and understand me now. I want you to understand, overstand, and understand me now. Now, some of you are saying, Dr. Umar, but what about her snow bunny crisis? Some of you are asking at this very moment, Prince of Pan-Africanism, what about her snow bunny crisis? Some of you are saying right now, why be concerned about the way she was treated if she decided to dedicate her life to an enemy of our race? Why do you dare speak up for her? And I'll tell you why. The reason I dare speak up for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson is despite my disagreement with her interracial marriage. Despite my disagreement with her interracial marriage, she's still a black woman. Despite my disagreement with her interracial marriage, she's still a black woman and had no right to be treated the way Ted Cruz and others treated her these past 4 days. Now, we only got 3 black U.S. senators, 3 black men in the U.S. Senate, no black women. Raphael Warnock, Cory Booker, and Tim Scott, who is more Republican than the Republicans. And Tim Scott, who is more Republican than the Republicans. And for those Africans who live in Tim Scott's district, y'all got to get him out of there. Y'all got to get him out. He represents South Carolina. Tim Scott represents South Carolina. Senator Tim Scott represents South Carolina. South Carolina is one of our blackest states. It was the blackest of the 13 colonies. South Carolina is one of our blackest states, and it was the blackest of the 13 colonies in the antebellum era. Black folks, get his ass up out of there. Get Tim. No black man should be comfortable siding with the white power structure while they belittle, malign, and disrespect a black woman the way they did to Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson this past week. Tim Scott, your ass got to go. Tim Scott got to go. And that's why when we have our confidential Bishop Turner National Independent Black Political Movement Caucus, when we have our confidential Bishop Turner National Independent Black Political Movement Caucus. And if you're interested, BTNIBPM at Yahoo. And if you're interested, BTNIBPM at Yahoo. And if you're interested, BTNIBPM at yahoo.com. We might have to run somebody for U.S. Senate against Tim Scott. He got to go. South Carolina, are you ready to get Tim Scott up out of there? Africans and my South Carolina Africans, are you ready to get Tim Scott up out of there? My South Carolina Africans, are you ready to get Tim Scott up out of there? But I digress. I digress. I digress. I want to say to Sister Ketanji Brown, Judge Ketanji, on behalf of all black men in this country, I apologize to you. Sister Ketanji, on behalf of all black men in this country, I apologize to you. And let me tell you why. Remember when those white people stormed the Capitol? Because they believe Donald Trump had been cheated. Remember the insurrection at the Capitol building when those white folks kicked in windows and set fires and broke furniture and overrode the U.S. Capitol? Remember that insurrection? Well, guess what? The way in which Judge Ketanji was treated last week, in my opinion, I feel that black men would have been justified to overrun the Capitol building during Sister Ketanji's Senate confirmation hearings. We should have overran that damn Senate confirmation hearing. We should not have stood down as black men and watched that black woman get treated like that. I don't care if we had to go to jail. I don't care if we had to go to jail. Black men should have had an insurrection at the U.S. Capitol in support of our sister, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. We should have kicked in the damn door and told Ted Cruz, who the F do you think you are? We should have went right down the list to every white racist senator in that damn chamber. And we would have said, we should have said, you don't talk to no black woman like that, coward. You don't talk to my sister like that, coward. Who do you think you talking to? Her mother and father were in there. Her mother and father were in that room, and those elders had to watch their daughter get treated like a piece of garbage. She had more credentials than anybody who questioned her. She had more qualifications than anybody who questioned her. She had more experience than anybody who questioned her. And her mother and father had to sit there and watch their daughter get treated like that in the so-called land of milk and honey, in the so-called land of freedom, justice, and equality. What kind of country is this? What kind of country is this? What kind of government is this that in the 21st century, a black woman got to be treated like that? She almost cried, but she held it back. Go watch the confirmation hearings. Get your ass off YouTube once in a while. Get your ass off Twitter once in a while. Get your ass off Instagram once in a while. Get your ass off the internet and go watch the Senate confirmation hearings for Sister Ketanji. Go watch and look at the questions that they asked our sister. One of those devils had the nerve to ask her, do you think we lock up enough criminals in this country? One of them devils had the nerve to ask Judge Ketanji, do you think we lock up enough criminals in this country? Do you think we should be locking up more? You know what they were asking her indirectly. You know what they were asking her indirectly. You know what they were asking her indirectly. Do you think more black people should be locked up because we know your people aren't nothing but criminals? That's what they were asking her. That's what they were asking her. Shouldn't more of your people be locked up? And if you become a U.S. Supreme Court justice, do you support the intensification of the mass incarceration of blacks in America? If you become the first black female Supreme Court justice, do you support the intensification of the mass incarceration of black men and women in this country? And then they spent so much of the time talking about her sentencing decisions for some child pornography cases. Now, let's keep it real. We don't support child pornography. Those people should be locked up and put under the jail. But she answered the question when she said, what I did in sentencing those child pornography criminals was consistent with what other judges do when they sentence child pornography criminals. I agree. They should have been put under the jail. I agree. But why single her out as if she's done something that was so radically different than from what other federal justices do when they sentence child pornography criminals? Was her sentencing markedly different than the sentencing of other federal district court judges? No, it was not. No, it was not. And as she said in response to the child pornography questions, she said so articulately and intelligently, if the Senate has a problem with the way in which I sentenced those criminals, you can pass laws to change the sentencing guidelines. The point she made over and over again, was the sentencing was done within the confines of the guidelines that the U.S. Congress has laid down. The sentencing was done within the confines of the guidelines that the U.S. Congress has laid down. So if you don't agree, change the guidelines that we have to use as judges in order to sentence people. And what was so hypocritical about them grilling her on the way she sentences criminals, not just in child porn, they went over her entire record. They claimed she was soft on black criminals. They claimed she was soft on black criminals. They claimed she was soft on black criminals. But the hypocrisy of this country, which incarcerates more black people per capita than any country in the world. America incarcerates more people than any country in the world, and the disproportionate amount of the people incarcerated in this country are black. How dare you ask her if America needs to lock up more criminals when you already have more black people locked up per capita than any country on the planet Earth? That was a damn sham. That was a sham, and it was a scam. Like Brother Malcolm said, you've been had, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, run amok, and led astray. Brother Malcolm said, you've been had, you've been hoodwinked, you've been bamboozled, you've been run amok, and you've been led astray. Should we lock up more criminals? Do you think you tough enough on crime? They had the nerve to ask her, do you think you have been tough enough on crime? How many more black people do y'all want incarcerated? How many more black people do y'all want incarcerated before you can say it's been enough? Mr. Mitch McConnell, you old crusty devil, Ted Cruz, a racist Latino devil. How many more black people need to be locked up in order for the racist U.S. Senate to feel that enough of us are in jail? How many more? Not to mention, most black people who have been convicted were convicted on plea bargains because they couldn't afford decent attorneys. Most black people who are convicted in this country are not convicted because they are guilty. They are convicted because they cannot afford to pay for adequate legal representation. How dare y'all disrespect my sister like that? How dare y'all disrespect my sister like that? Senator Cory Booker. Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey. Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey. I want to give you a quick shout out. I ran into you at my 4th Breakfast Club interview at Power 105. I ran into Senator Cory Booker at my 4th Breakfast Club interview at Power 105. Didn't get a chance to conversate because I really don't do politicians. But I want to thank you because I didn't see Tim Scott, and he might have. I didn't see Raphael Warnock, and he might have. But Cory Booker, I do appreciate you trying to be a black man in defense of your black sister. I do appreciate you for giving her the words of encouragement that you gave her. I do appreciate you saying God got her back. Don't pay no attention to these racists. They're going to question everything you do, and you didn't make it this far for nothing. As a black man to a black man, I appreciate you trying to give our sister some support in that house of devils. The U.S. Senate, House of Devils. Only 3 of them are black, and one of them is a House Negro. The U.S. Senate, House of Devils. Cory Booker, I'm going to give you a shout out for that. Cory Booker, I'm going to give you a shout out for that. Now, we're going to still look at your record, Cory Booker. When the Bishop Turner National Independent Black Political Movement has our private caucus, we still going to look at your record, my brother, because I don't know if you're fighting hard enough for black people in that Senate. I don't know if you're fighting hard enough for black people in that Senate, but I'm not going to judge you until I study you, Senator Cory Booker. I'm not going to judge you until I study you, Senator Cory Booker. I'm not going to judge you until I study you, Senator Cory Booker, but I do want to say thank you for backing up our sister. Thank you for being a black man that day to let our sister know, don't pay this stuff no mind. I know you can see she was hurting. I know she wanted to walk out. I know she wanted to say, this isn't even worth it. I saw the tears in her eyes, but she had the strength to hold it back. I saw the tears in her eyes, but she had the strength to hold it back. No black woman should be treated like that. Now, here's my next question. Here's my next question. Here's my next question. Radical black feminists and white feminists. Where is the outcry from the radical black feminists and the white feminists about the way this black woman was disrespected by white men? Where are the feminists? I'm going to ask it again. Where are the damn feminists? Y'all claim to be for women. Y'all claim to be in support of black women. Here is a black woman, the first ever black female U.S. Supreme Court Justice nominee gets disrespected for 4 days by the most virulent white supremacists in this country. I'm talking about the U.S. Senate, all 97 plus 1 Negro of them, all 97 plus 1 Negro of them. Disrespect our sister for 4 days. Where are the articles? Where are the protests? Where is the outcry from the feminist movement? You damn fakers. Where you feminists at? I don't hear nothing coming from these damn radical black feminists, these white feminists, about the way our sister, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, has been treated last week. Where are you at? I'm going to tell you like I told you before, the feminist movement ain't nothing but a new face for white racism. The feminist movement ain't nothing but a new face for white racism. The feminist movement ain't nothing but a new face for white racism. And the only time y'all come out is when there's a black man who needs to be publicly lynched. The only time the feminist movement does anything is when a black man needs his character assassinated. The only time the feminist movement does a damn thing is when another black man gets accused of mistreating a woman, and you have to make sure that his assassination, his character is assassinated before he gets convicted in court. Where the feminists at? Where is the black feminist support for Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson? Now, let me say this, because I want to be clear. Let me say this. I don't know what she's going to do when she gets in there. I don't know what she's going to do when she got a white husband. It looks like she's not been too kind to black people. So I'm not here to vouch for her. I'm here to vouch for her as a member of the black sisterhood. I'm here to vouch for her as a member of the black queendom. I'm here to vouch for her as a member of the African woman empire. That's why I'm speaking for my sister. That's why I'm speaking for my sister. That's why I'm speaking for my sister. I remember I was a senior at the Scotland School for Veterans Children in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. I remember I was a senior at the Scotland School for Veterans Children in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. In October of 1991, I sat on the couch in the residential area where we stayed as young men, and I watched Clarence Thomas. I watched every day. I was only 17 years old, but I watched every day of Justice Clarence Thomas confirmation hearings. And guess who was Ted Cruz back in 1991? Guess who was Mitch McConnell back in 1991? It was none other than your president that black people couldn't wait to run out and vote for. It was none other than Senator Joe Biden from Delaware. Senator Joe Biden from Delaware. And Senator Joe Biden from Delaware, who is now your president, treated Clarence Thomas like a dog, like an animal, like a monkey, like a roach, like a house rat. I sat there. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. As a 17-year-old high school student, I watched Joe Biden treat Clarence Thomas the same way Ted Cruz and the rest of the Ku Klux Klan of the Senate treated Sister Ketanji this past week. Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? 91 to 01 to 11 to 21, 31 years later, no progress. 31 years later, and the U.S. Senate is still treating U.S. Supreme Court justice nominees like dogs and animals, like they can't think, like they can't make decisions, like they incompetent, like they soft on crime. Aren't there enough black people locked up? Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall went through the same thing in 1967. Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall went through the same thing in 1967. 1 year before they killed King, they rushed, Lyndon Baines Johnson rushed in and had Thurgood Marshall nominated to be the first black U.S. Supreme Court Justice. They didn't care about Thurgood Marshall, and they didn't care about black people. The reason Thurgood Marshall got nominated is because the 1967 riots of Newark, New Jersey and Detroit, Michigan was pushing America to the limit. The only reason why Thurgood Marshall got nominated is the Newark, New Jersey 1967 riots and the Detroit, Michigan 1967 riots was pushing America's infrastructure to the brink. In Newark, New Jersey and Detroit, they fought the police, they fought the militia, they fought the state guard, they fought the army. And they said, we got to calm these Negroes down because they acting like they not scared of white folks no more. And so they put Thurgood Marshall on the bench to try to quell the Detroit riots and the Newark riots. And that wasn't it. Over 100 riots in 1967. Over 100 race riots in this country in 1967, led by Newark, New Jersey and Detroit, Michigan. And as a result of that, Thurgood Marshall got ushered into the bench. Thurgood Marshall got ushered into the bench. Thurgood Marshall got ushered into the bench. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So Thurgood Marshall got put in because Black America had enough. The Black Panthers wasn't playing. Black Liberation Army wasn't playing. The brothers and sisters in the streets said we had enough. So they said, we better give these Negroes something. We better give these Negroes something before America explodes. Thurgood Marshall was the consolation prize to convince black people that America was going to get better. Thurgood Marshall in 1967 was the consolation prize that the government gave to black folks, hoping black people would go and lay down. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Why was Clarence Thomas nominated? Why was Clarence Thomas, who's a sellout, has done nothing for black people in the Supreme Court. One of the worst public figures in the history of black America is Clarence Thomas. I have no respect for the man. I have zero respect for the man. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, brothers and sisters. Oh, yes, brothers and sisters. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Why did George Bush Sr. nominate Clarence Thomas to the U.S. Supreme Court? Because George Bush Sr. was former CIA director. So we know he didn't like black folks, because what is the job of the CIA? What is the job of the CIA, which is a cabinet level position within the executive branch of the U.S. government? The CIA's job is to kill African and Caribbean and Central and South American democratically elected heads of state when they don't do what the American business aristocracy demands that they do. The CIA exists to sell drugs and kill black leadership. Let me say it again. The CIA exists to sell drugs and kill black leadership. You don't believe me? Go do your research. Who started the CIA? A Wall Street banker. Why would a Wall Street banker create the CIA? So they can funnel the drug money through Wall Street. So they can funnel the drug money through Wall Street. So they can funnel the drug money through Wall Street. That's why Wall Street was founded by a CIA banker. Facts. The president don't even choose the head of the CIA. They give him 3 names. The white power structure, the secret government, gives the president 3 possible CIA director names from which they get to choose one. The CIA is not an intelligence gathering organization. The CIA is not an intelligence gathering organization. The CIA is not an intelligence gathering organization. The CIA is a espionage, sabotage, secret military, African government overthrow expert organization. That's what they do. They killed Lumumba. They were implicated in the assassination of Emile Amilcar Cabral, Guinea-Bissau. They was implicated in Thomas Sankar's murder. The CIA overthrew Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The CIA overthrew Osajifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The CIA helped the apartheid government track down Nelson Mandela. They would have never caught Nelson Mandela if it wasn't for the CIA. I'm not talking old Mandela. I'm talking about young Mandela. And then you got a nerve to come out with a Black Panther movie. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. I'm still not sure that wasn't an assassination. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. I'm still not sure that wasn't an assassination. But you come out with the Black Panther movie and the damn hero is a CIA agent in a movie based in Africa, fictitious country Wakanda. Fictitious country Wakanda. And Agent Ross saves the Black Panther sister, and he provides the information and the assistance to save the day. He shows up with the fighter jet. A CIA agent shows up with a fighter jet in the Black Panther movie to save a black country. You Negroes are out of your mind.